All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Chuck over here, keeping it real. We got episode 80 today, and I've got an amazing guest on tap. I cannot wait. One of the Mount Rushmore in the industry for me. So let me hit the intro real quick, and I'll be right back with something you guys will not believe. Kaboom, right,
Ooh,
baby? What's going
hear
on,
that, bro.
everybody? Episode
Get
80, keeping
fired
it
up, man.
real.
Give me
Look who I got in the
goosebumps
house
over here.
today. I got Lee Haight in the house, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, all that stuff wrapped up into one. I was going to come with a sweet intro, but it was going to take me like 15 minutes to give out all the accomplishments and all the
No,
stuff
it's
you're
all about
doing.
the energy. Your song had better energy than my intro. I'm like, dang, Chuck is taking it to the next level over here on this podcast.
I definitely got to give a shout out to my boy Chris Carpenter, who made that for me with K Socialized Media. He is the best in the industry, and I do think I have a pretty good intro. So I like
And,
that.
and as soon as I zoomed in, I was like, what's that behind you? You're like, that's my hot sauce. I'm like, show me your hottest bottle.
All right. I got you right here, Lee. I guarantee
Let me see
this
what you
is
got.
the one. This is the one. This is called Calfu. And we did a little research on this one
All
the
right.
other day. And it's like some voodoo queen lady, right? And
Uh-huh.
they have a thing called the Scovilles. And I didn't know what that was, but it measures how hot stuff is. And they said that the Carolina Reaper was like 250,000 Scovilles or something. That Calfu was like 3 million. So
Oh,
I'm waiting
oh.
for the glass to melt and I'm waiting for the stuff to just start freaking eroding the floor here in my office. But I'm never going to eat it. It looks pretty though.
I can remember my first big hurricane year in Florida. I discovered Tijuana Flats. If anybody had never gone there and ate the death sauce from Tijuana Flats, it'll hit you from all angles. You'll be sitting in burns throughout all parts of your underwear. And it's like, how did it creep up there? Oh my God.
I understand the afterburn, and that's why we've offered to pay somebody $500 to eat this stuff, but nobody has stepped up yet. I got
You
a
know what? I'll
$500
step up for
challenge.
that shit. I'll do it.
All
I'll,
right,
I'll,
for
I'll do it for $500.
for
The blood.
$500, I will make sure that we get this done because I'm not doing it. I can assure you
Right.
of that.
No, dude.
That's
My wife makes fun of me at every single meal. I put hot sauce just about on everything, and I really find it fun. And I don't know how, but it's sweat all over me. She's like, "You're disgusting. You're always sweating, and while you eat."
hey, it's giving your all. No matter what you're doing, you're giving 100%, and that's why I appreciate you, Lee, because you definitely go out and you make yourself known, dude. You put the effort out, you put the energy out. And before we even get started, I want to thank you for being here today because
Hey,
I've
thank you for
been
having me, bro.
for sure, I've been hounding you for like a year. The whole
That's
reason
what
behind
it
this
takes,
podcast,
man. Persistence is that's how I know you're a badass salesperson, man. You're always hungry for knowledge, and you're following up.
always following up. You got to, right? So I want to talk to you about a few things. I've got a nice list of stuff here, but if it just deviates completely off that, I don't even care. The one thing I want to talk to you right now, your shirt is giving me topic number one is Blue Collar American Dream Conference. I have gone to the last two, and I've always said that if I get a chance to talk to you in person, I want to give you my honest feedback on your event and tell you why it was the best one I've ever been to.
Thank
So,
you. Please, I'm not paying you to say this now.
no, definitely
And
not.
and
Definitely
really,
not.
you're not like you haven't bought a bunch of products from me either, per se.
Nope. And that's something on my list as well. You know, this is all genuine because, quite honestly, I've known you for years and you've always
People
been
always
super
think I'm
cool.
just trying to sell people stuff, and I get that kind of MO.
You definitely do. And that's that, like I said, I got that on my list here. But let's talk about the conference. Okay. The 2 years ago conference, I went down there. It was awesome, right? We were still kind of in that COVID deal though, and people were wearing masks, and it was a little bit, you know, not quite where it was at this year. But the one thing I really took from that was number one, you put a shit ton of effort in yourself and your team. Number two, you're legit. Like your results that you produced were legitimate. Your conference was on point. Like everything was timed out perfectly. I'd never seen one that was run so efficiently. And I know stuff like that matters because you're putting your time, your energy. You spent a year
It
plus
had
probably
nothing to
planning
do
that.
with me. I will tell you that. Okay. If
Well,
it
but hey,
if a lot of people try to skip the details and try and organize it themselves, it's called hire a proven event coordinator. I hired Russell Brunson's event coordinator. So, and I mean, I drove her crazy with all the changes to the schedule I made. You know, it was crazy.
yeah, I mean, but if anybody knows how to put on an event, it's Russell Brunson, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
yours was spot on. I enjoyed it from the very beginning. The intro video that you put on was like goosebumps, and it just set the tempo for the entire event. Made a lot of friends there. I got a lot of cool contacts, people that I got a friend that's an electrician I sat next to the entire event. And we're still cool to this day. We talk a lot and he's going to get some advice from me on solar and stuff like that. So that's what the event was designed to do, right? Bring a bunch
yeah.
of people, the blue collars of the world. And
And
what I
people don't
thought was,
realize it's not just roofers, it's roofers, solar guys, general contractors, men from all different trades. There's a lot of different insurance roofers, but a lot of the guys in my network are retail roofers as well. And I think that you embody what we call becoming a social sales king. In this show, you're doing exactly what we talk about. And, people always come to us because they can't find good people to work with them.
yeah. And did my thing just block up a little bit there?
No.
Oh, my bad. I thought I was like shaking there for a second on camera, but you're right. People have to know who you are. And I think you are the guy that I try to model myself after, quite honestly. I'm going to tell you that right now on Keeping It Rio. Because Keeping It Rio wouldn't exist if it weren't for me going to your conference last year. One of the things that I really, really, really appreciate is the accessibility to everybody that you had there. I'm not gonna lie, Bradley is the dude who told me while I was walking down the hallway, it was just me and Bradley and some other guy. And I just walked up and said, "Hey man, I appreciate you." And we do light speed and all that. And he said something about, does anybody know who you are? Do you have a podcast? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm thinking about doing it. And Bradley said something really inspirational. I'm not going to repeat it, but it was pretty cool,
Fucking
and
get to it, boy.
that's exactly what he said. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm going to make this happen. And here we are. This is episode 80. And that all spurned from that
Hey,
one
man,
conversation.
episode 80. That's consistency, man.
It is. It's every single week we do it. And I love it because it's fun. I get to talk to a lot of badasses, not just in our industry, but the other day I had a girl on that's an author. She wrote a book about the opioid epidemic, and her family opened a restaurant that hires recovering addicts of that. So, like, it's not even about roofing at this point. To be honest, I don't even talk about roofing on this podcast. We
Well,
talk
let
about,
me tell you a story because it really relates to that. And it's in Austin. You're going to meet this woman, and it's a story that should be heard throughout all the roofing community. I want to tell it as many times as possible because hopefully, through someone else's biggest trauma, that you can learn something.
yep,
And it also is an example of the law of attraction. Do you believe in the law of attraction?
absolutely.
Okay, so
Nothing in my life would exist without it, I don't believe.
Okay, so this is the name of a company of LOA Construction, LOA Contracting. They're out of Austin. When I first met Clyde Greg Bryan, he was a $500,000 contractor, but he was sober. He had met his business partner in rehab, and they were on a new path. And they had big dreams, and they had these ideas and goals that they could visualize and write down, and they were willing to do the work. Clyde loved to go to the gym. He loved to really like push himself, and he was open to mentorship. And when I met him at 10X GrowthCon, it was the same. Remember that weekend? I should have gone to the ASAP. Both ASAP had a suite at GrowthCon, and so did Sky Diamonds. We were on the same level, and we were busy.
I
And
got this bracelet at that event.
I don't know why I didn't go in to your suite and just introduce myself to everybody at that point, but I got busy and I should have. But either way, Clyde Greg Bryan met me there. At that time, he was a $500,000 a year contractor. Well, he joined my program, started having success with video ads, started growing, hired a team. Success creates new problems, Chuck. How many times you seen these guys blow up and then they blow up so fast they blow themselves up? You ever seen that?
Oh my god, I've been in this 24 years. I was in distribution, so I've seen it thousands of times.
I mean, and sometimes it's the people that you love the most, isn't it?
Absolutely. Most of the time, it's a good person that bad things start happening to, but it's
So
self-inflicted, unfortunately.
it is self-inflicted, and so this is a story of a company that grew and grew, and it grew to the point of 5 million. But one thing in my early days coaching, I learned if I don't teach people that discipline equals freedom, discipline to a process, an SOP, a CRM, and you can't really like run everybody's business. You can't. I want to be Captain Save a Hoe, Captain Save a Roofer, and you can't. Everybody don't take it as seriously as me, and sometimes when you're in my army you can abide by the rules because you have like enforcement on you and it helps you make more money. But what happened with Clyde's company is it got behind on money. Its collections processes were backward. They were paying salespersons before the jobs capped out. They were having problems with collections. And so they couldn't keep up with their bills. They couldn't keep up with insurance. They had tons of sales and it caused pressure and he relapsed. And when he relapsed, he passed away. And it's unfortunately the guy went from $500,000 business, $5 million business. Now the business does 10 million. He was a 25-year-old man. I made a relationship with him that will never stop going on. But it just goes to show you sometimes as soon as we have success, that's when we're the most dangerous for the world to get us. And we have to be careful to always be improving, to always be humble, and to look like, guys, in this world, there's a lot of things that can take you out. Drugs, alcohol, greed, and if you can't control yourself around women, you're really just flying by your seat of your pants. And like you said, setting yourself up for self-destruction. How many times have you seen it, Chuck?
Over and over again. And, it's really sad. That's one of the things about our industry. And that's why I wanted to talk to this girl because she's, completely opposite of what we're doing, really. But the problems were paralleled. And, it's universal problem. And it's something that's definitely an issue here. One thing I'm super proud of is that this industry has a lot of groups, a lot of people that are really working towards improving the situation to the best of our ability. And, there's a lot of genuine people in this industry. And I put you at the top of the list there. I think you're probably the most misunderstood guy in the entire thing.
Well, I'll tell you
Um,
what, even though there's a lot of groups, men have a hard time reaching out to men. I'll be honest with you. I've
oh,
told this
dude,
story a
very
few.
true.
I'll tell you the story a few times. My uncle, he was my role model. Him and my dad, they broke up in business. My uncle became way more successful, very much way more successful. And I wanted a company like his. Well, one day I got a call from my uncle's best friend. He killed himself and he had an 8-figure net worth. And when that happened, basically it shocked my paradigm that money isn't everything. And I had to actually do my cousin a favor. I had to actually go with someone that works with my company into the house. And it was a traumatic moment that scarred me, that reminded me. And then at the funeral of my uncle, I realized how many people he got into the business, how many people he helped, and how many people they helped. And what his legacy truly was the education that he left behind. And it was funny because my uncle would give us a hard time about the typical education because they're really like government indoctrination camps. Like they don't teach you
Yeah.
sales in school, entrepreneurship in school. But my legacy, I want to be one where I help as many men and women build character, confidence, and freedom and be the best in the world, introducing people to our industry. And so, people, they look at what we put out on the internet and they've never met me. Most people that hate me, they've never met me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I often say, you know what? I know the guy, and you've never been anything but cool to me. Like you just said, I'm not one of your top clients. I have Sky Diamonds University that I bought several years ago. But I think that, like they say, the energy it reciprocates and you recognize, hey, this is a guy who's trying to do something and you're trying to do something. You're doing something incredible on a much larger scale, but we're all trying to improve ourselves. We're all trying to make lives better for the people around us. And
Well, I respect what you're doing because you're building it in Texas. I left Texas, went to Florida. You're doing it in a place, and I'm coming back to Texas because solar makes Texas even that much more valuable. You can now sell retail roofs along with insurance, And, you have a dynasty across the state of Texas with you and ASAP and your ability to scale someone through a career path. You've solved one of the biggest problems in Texas, where what do you do when you have an ultra successful guy? Well, you give him a path to be his franchise partner with you. And sort of like what you've got going on there with ASAP. I mean, I think that's very innovative. And that's why you are basically winning. You're winning in the Texas market. And I learned from ASAP, from you, and I'm like, wow, if they can do it in the Texas market, shit, it invites me to want to come back. You-
Right. There's plenty of room. I know that. That's one thing I really appreciate about it too, is that, you promote a lot of great companies, and you also promote harmony. It's that's probably sounds weird to people, like you say, that don't know Lee, that sees
well,
the
they see the
videos and
violence.
stuff.
They
And
see how are you going to start to talk about fighting and promote harmony? Okay, because that is a funny juxtaposition. And the truth is we're all in a fight for our American dream, and there's a bunch of negative forces in the world. And you can be kumbaya, but I'm more like, let's join together to fight this evil, and let's strengthen up. And in harmony, we have to ready ourselves for war. And you might think, oh wow, what's he trying to do? Lead some sort of blue collar fucking militia? Well, maybe, motherfuckers.
possibly, right? Got to be ready.
I mean, what do you think about the president getting raided by the FBI?
And it makes me thankful that I've got the ability to, take care of myself if need
Hey, it
be.
makes you thankful you got a bunch of roofer brothers that at the fucking drop of a hat can bound together. And I mean, here's the thing. Um, what I've learned about roofers is a lot of them are all talk when it comes to being able to defend themselves. And I didn't want to be that guy. I felt like that guy. I felt like a little bit of a fraud. And I was an athlete growing up. And so whenever I lost athletic sports and I didn't make it as a pro athlete or a college athlete, and I went into roofing was my sport, and it fulfilled a certain hole for me for a while. But then I became this skinny fat dad bod addicted to nothing but sales and didn't have anything but workaholic aspect to my life. And that was about right when the pandemic came along. What are your hobbies?
And I don't have any hobbies. I do a lot of work. I'm making this podcast into a thing though right now,
Hell yeah,
for
dude. Fuck
I've
yeah, that's
been
a good hobby. That's
it's
one of
it's
my
a
that's one of my favorite hobbies, if you don't lie. If I'm not lying. We just hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Woo woo.
right. See, I'm just trying to get to like 100 right now. I'm working it, but
Well, fucking YouTube's the major leagues of goddamn social media, guys. It stays forever. It grows. We had a video we posted a fucking 6 months ago, and it just shot through the moon, got 300,000 views in a month, grew 3,000 subscribers in a month. You never know.
that's right.
Let me tell you a story about Raymond Little. Raymond Little had no YouTube channel. He made one badass video. Many of y'all seen it. Roofer versus State Farm adjuster. He picked that adjuster apart. He never lost his cool. And somebody like, oh, if you think that's how you're supposed to handle an adjuster, well, then you should go back. That fucker took him to school. It got millions of views. And his YouTube got started. Guess what? You really want to blow up, Chuck? You follow people. You pull the Operation Swagger Jack. Okay. Now, guess what? My video trended so high because of his video, because my video would get suggested to his. Well, now I'm going to do nothing but roofer versus adjuster videos. So everybody out there watching this, if you get a good adjuster video where you're fighting them and you were really right and you win on camera, send that shit into my YouTube channel and we'll feature you over at Lee Haight's YouTube channel, because we need more roofer versus adjuster videos. Fuck these guys. All the regular people out there, when they saw that shit for the first time, all the evil and understanding of it, we bring that shit to light. Y'all won't believe it. On my channel, there was regular people from every angle, women, men, commenting about the evil of the insurance company on the claim and how I was standing up for the people. And those are the type of fucking videos. It's funny. Dimitri understands conflict sales. And that's why a lot of times you see this YouTube culture where you're going at people just for views, and I did a video and I hope nobody took it personal. It was a parody. I hope you understood what I was trying to do with this video, because I did this video based off a concept and I left all the names out of it. Okay. The concept is that there's one industry, one solution. And the whole parody of life is that this is not my solution. It's not one industry any of us do. All of us are doing roofing, siding, gutters, windows. We're doing all kinds of shit. More importantly, roofing and solar right now is a gold rush. And, I'm going on tour in Texas because there's two industries. There's one gold rush. And the idea that there's one solution, like say sky diamonds. Sky diamonds isn't the only solution. Take what you want, leave the rest. Like Bruce Lee said, what sky diamonds is what my dad and my uncle taught me. They did 100 million before me. All the years I've been in it. I'm not in the 20-year roofing entrepreneur club. I've been in it 18 years. Okay. And I've worked in Ohio, bro. I fucking killed it in Ohio. In Akron, Ohio in 2007, I was a punk. I wasn't even 20 years old. I had a team of 5 salespeople. We did about $4 million and went to the strip club every night. And I lost payroll at the strip club multiple times like a complete idiot. I grew up and met my wife a couple years later and don't behave like that anymore. But I'm telling you, I've been doing this shit a long fucking time. I should have made it big a long time ago. The reality is, guys, that whenever you're doing this, you have to figure out how to keep leveling yourself up so that this business, these confrontations, these relationships aren't your whole life. For me, there's been so many times where being addicted to the roofing game has caused me to be in a deep depression because it beats the shit out of you a lot of times.
Man, that is one of the most true statements I've ever heard. And it's weird because I went to a retreat in Orlando that was put on by K Socialized Media back in, I guess, March. And we had company owners from all over fly in. We hung out. It was a cool mansion. It's a video game theme deal over by Disney World. And my 2 hour block of speaking, it was weird because I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to come out here and BS you. I can't talk to you, Lee, about how to build a 10 or $20 million business because I'm working on that right now. I'm not there. I can talk about how to do sales. I've done sales. I've got numbers that back up my stuff, but I'm standing in front of a bunch of people who technically are probably more successful than I am at this point. And my topic was, how does this thing affect you personally? Like, how affected do you get by the success of your business? Because it's something that bothers all of us. And I'm glad you said that because it's the elephant in the room too, that a lot of people don't talk about. But I mean, holy cow, stuff starts going wrong, man. You can be millions of dollars
And it's the
upside
elephant
down
in the
in no
room
time.
that led my uncle to kill himself. It was just a tough change in business, a tough change in a couple of things he was trying to do, things outside of roofing. And he literally ended that with suicide. And then I witnessed it. And I'll just be honest with you, I have to protect my peace. And one of the ways I protect my peace is I maximize my purpose by helping people. I put as much content out there in the world to help as much people as I can. And I do it all really right now for free. It's a lot of free shit on my YouTube. It's unbelievable how much free shit we put out there. But really, I mean, I want people to get serious about it. The way I changed is I paid for training. By paying, I paid attention. I asked all my mentors and did all the work. And yeah, I had faith and I had ideas, but I did the fucking action. I think that's missing from society. People want what we have without doing the work. People want some sort of a shortcut, and I don't know what it is, but people want to be super millionaires by the time of 25 or by the time of 30. And just like, it's not going to happen, young punk. You got to get out there and fucking put your feet in the ground. And I hate to say it, but if it does happen through the fluke circumstance, you're probably going to lose it. You know what I mean? Because, I've seen that happen.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the most common thing is you get people that start a company. We hit a storm here in Texas. I tell my homeowners, like, Mrs. Jones, you could go start Mrs. Jones Roofing right now and go tell your neighbors you're going to roof their houses. And you've got just as much right as I do. But that's a dangerous thing because a lot of people think this is easy. And I've had a lot of people that I've known over the years that are just like, if it doesn't work for me in sales, I'll just start my own company. And I mean, I don't
And
know.
creating content and giving back and coaching people used to be the thing that helped me get over the like negativity, the depression, the anxiety, but it still became too much because then I was like falsely putting my hopes and dreams into how other people thought about me. And I didn't build enough of my own character. And through fighting, through truly becoming capable of putting myself through uncomfortable and hell on a daily basis for like about the last 2.5 years. It's really been a good, humbling experience for me. Going into those rooms, I'm not Mr. Roofing CEO, $100 million guy. I'm just a baby back bitch, an old guy, a skinny little fuck that can get thrown around by somebody that's maybe 60, 70 pounds lighter than me. And, when it comes to 2.5 years of making friends, going into the rooms, the boxing rooms, the jujitsu rooms, what you get is, man, an incredible relationship with some of these coaches. One of my guys next door is taking over as director of sales process, and he's a skydiving consultant. He's an ex-Army Ranger, and he hit me up there today. So he's hiring salespeople. And you want to know, how do you attract better salespeople into your business? Well, you have to become a better person, put yourself in different networks. And so, he's not the first person from that community, but here recently, I'm sponsoring the ADCC, which is a championship jiu-jitsu tournament where our name's going to be on the mats. We, of course, got Kamaru Usman's solar deal. He's going to be all over TV saying we're doing his solar. We're installing his solar as soon as he gets done with this fight. That's why we're offering a private jet mastermind. And so in order to win that private jet mastermind, of course, Chuck, all you got to do is show up to our event there in Austin. And I truly think there's more I could do for you, because I know there's problems in Texas right now. I know there is not as many storms, or there is a little bit of slowdown. I know Austin's hot. I mean, there is a real drastic need for solar to be the big game changer in filling the gap, bridging the gap. Is that not what you're going through right now?
That is our strategy 100%. I'm bringing guys in now to my team, and I'm telling them, look, we're actually leading with solar, and it's getting us on roofs because people are far more receptive right now to solar. I mean, hell, the CPS bills here in San Antonio are insane. And if you can put a proposal in front of somebody and show them, hey, look, these bills are not going to go away. I promise you, for the next 20 years, you're going to get an electric bill every single month, and you're going
I
to have
think
to
we
pay
should
it.
do a door-to-door knockoff. We should get a bunch of companies and see how many in each group could get power bills, and separate my cameramen and make a YouTube episode where we do Keepin It Rio go after power bills. Omar Al-Ghali goes after power bills. Justin Ledford from Flagstone, and we get like some sort of a YouTube operation going on. We got to
I'm
put some.
all with it. I'm definitely in on that. Justin Ledford's a good guy. I was on his podcast a couple weeks ago, and I like him a lot. So yeah, anything that we can do that can make our industry fun. I took my guys out door knocking the other day,
Hey,
and
what did you think about the Blue Collar Fight Club? I mean,
that was going to be my next thing. Okay,
okay,
so
because I wanted you to. People are like, Lee's is violent. He just wants to fight everybody. What did you think about this Blue Collar Fight Club?
to me, this was the separation point for the conference from everything else in the industry, right? Like nobody else is doing that. And I saw the Facebook post the other day, and I don't remember who it was, but it was something about all the conferences were about the same and they're cookie cutters. And you stepped in and said, no, here's what separates mine. And I felt obligated as well to jump in and say, yeah, at least telling the truth, because it was the most cool thing I've been to as far as an industry event. You fought Best Damn Roofer, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, here's two of the most visible guys in our industry. Both of them are polarizing characters that's like, people either love or
And he
hate
gave it
both
a
of
good
these.
fucking fight too, didn't he?
He did. He was on my podcast, and we gave him his props. And I told him, like, dude, it takes balls to get in, especially you guys that are well known. I mean, Lee, in that room, okay, it's your event, you're putting it on. What happens if you get beat, dude? You're going to get shit talked for the next 20 years, and you're never going to forget about it from the industry, right? So you
Uh,
stepped in, and all the guys that are behind the keyboards are going to say, yeah, what a pussy, he got his ass kicked. At the end of the day, though, you got in there, you put yourself on the line in front of the industry. And to me, that is like, I can't picture myself doing that.
I'll be honest with you, Dustin Poirier thought it was fucking crazy. He's hit back to Tim Crater. He's like, this motherfucker ran the show. He fought in the event. He ran the speaking in between. Me and Dustin been back and forth. I've got this new segment coming out. Like, I'm tired of like calling roofers out. So here's the deal. I don't know if you saw my Instagram where my coach beat the shit out of me but here's the thing. This thing called bully beatdown. All you roofers that think Lee is a bully, that Well, because Dimitri says a lot of bad stuff, and I thought, whether it's grappling or if it's MMA or boxing, why not, Dimitri? You say all these things, why not? I mean, best damn Roofer did grappling. Maybe you should try jujitsu, but he's not going to do that. So I've got this bully beatdown thing. Lee's the bully. So Lee has got Kamaru Usman on that list. Since I'm doing his power bill, he's going to spar me up. He's going to drop me down. I got Dustin Poirier on that list. He's going to give me some MMA lessons. I'm a bitch when it comes to wrestling. I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty good with my hands, but I got my MMA game. I'm a long ways away from my MMA debut. And guess what? I want to do a pro MMA fight, which means I got to go through 5 different amateur MMA fights. And that means I'm going 3 5-minute rounds. So guess who else is on that list? My friend Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns trains with Cosmo, and I've got a private session set up with him. He's a world jiu-jitsu champ. He's going to teach me more about, how to defend myself. And we're going to film all these fighters beating the shit out of me, and we're going to call it Bully Beatdown. Oh, yeah, my friend Kelly Pavlik. He's on the middleweight championship. I said he's too big, not headshots. We'll just do body shots with the Ghost. But here's the thing: body shots with the Ghost.
Champ. I'm telling you, I've seen Kelly Pavlik punch people in the gut before, man. I wouldn't want any part of that.
Kelly Pavlik said, "Man, if I get punched in the gut right now, I might just puke." Lee, I seen them hands. That's literally what he said. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you're willing to put yourself up against the best in the room, if you're willing to be humiliated in front of the world, when you meet somebody that you're equal, you will never stop. And that's, my friend, how diamonds are made, baby. Pressure makes diamonds. So y'all want to see me sweat? Just wait for the Bully Beatdown segment on my YouTube.
I think that's going to be awesome. And again, I mean, you're not just getting beat up by regular people. I mean, Kamaru Usman legit is probably the pound for pound GOAT right now in mixed martial arts. That was what was cool about your event too, is you had Dustin Poirier as your advertised guy, and all of a sudden the GOAT just kind of shows up. Like you bring the heat, And I thought the speakers were awesome. One of the coolest parts about the entire thing was, like I was saying earlier, the availability. We go down there the first night. We ran into you at the restaurant. We're just kind of chatting and talking. The next night, Ed Milet is just sitting like right next to me. I was talking to Stephanie from Atlas, and she's saying something, and I just happened to glance over, and it's like, oh shit, it's Ed Milet. Like, I was a tad bit starstruck for a minute, but I'm also that guy that was like,
"Hey, you do it all in a nice venue because everyone wants
people are there." They want to hang out, and yeah,
a lot of these companies they don't spend the money on the venue I spend. They don't spend the money on the stage I spend. They don't spend the money on the speakers I spend. Dan Rooney was probably the one basically no one even knew about. But what did you think about what Folds of Honor and what he did?
I went and bought his book Monday when I got back. Every time I'll give you the shout out here, Lee, because you're responsible 100% for this. I go to Chipotle like 4 or 5 times a week, right? It's my favorite restaurant. And when you buy on the app, you can round up to donate to Folds of Honor. And I do that every single time now. And I'll do that for the rest of my life because I didn't know about that organization and what it was. And when I sat there and listened to him talk and how the whole thing got started in his garage and the whole premise behind it, it was like, dude, that message need to be brought to the world. And I didn't know who he was. So thank you, because you brought someone out there that I think really everybody would agree. Outside of your mom was awesome as a speaker. I think she was the favorite of everybody in our group. Nice. And I met your mom right after she was done, and I told her that in the hallway, and she became one of my best Facebook friends. So that was cool.
She's looking to do team building stuff, and she would. We need to connect her with Leanne. We need to see if they can't set something up because she loves doing that stuff. And if y'all would like her to help you, she's all about it.
I think something like that would be cool because I know Leanne really enjoyed that, and we all did. Your mom was awesome. I saw her right outside after she got done, and she was jacked up. That was a good moment.
My mom helped me a lot this year, guys. I mean, here's the thing with her title of her speech was called "Toxicity in Your City," and I'm not gonna lie. You might see somebody go out on the internet and bash Lee Haight, say Lee Haight didn't do this, or RCA didn't do that, or even worse accusations, whatever the hell they come up with, and that's sometimes the biggest fear is that you have somebody, they come through your system and then they leave in that way, and it scars you. And no matter, even if you're not a public figure like me, maybe they just run their mouth around town, and that's the biggest reason why you don't bring people around. That's I've seen. How many roofers you seen started like this?
Dude, hey, welcome to the club.
Have you
We've all
have you
been
ever had
there.
it happen to you?
Everybody, if you ever do anything for anybody, eventually they're going to say, "Well, you didn't do enough for me," and then you become the bad guy in the story. It
But
happens.
inside of every company, someone's got to be responsible for this. There's egos, there's people trying to move up, there's people that are always looking out for their own pocketbook. There's people that don't look out for the company's interest. There's all different personality types that have a hard time getting along with each other. And when basically Kobe and Shaq won the championship immediately, who was the person responsible for the championship? Was it Kobe? Was it Shaq? It caused such a problem that they broke up. And so, success can create new problems. And through as my company grew from 20 to 40, 40 to 80, my mother has been really, really instrumental in basically helping us connect on personality types, build relationships, build trust, get committed to how we communicate to each other, live in accordance to process and numbers. And more importantly, it comes down to when someone is feeling disengaged and they're pulling away, you have somebody to go send out and find out what's the root of the cause. And a lot of times the root of the cause is, really kind of silly, but you can address it at that point versus, bitching about their underperformance. And once you have as many employees as we have, your employees are your biggest asset no matter what. So, Jack Welsh, the guy who is in charge of General Electric, he said the HR manager is sort of like the most valuable person in the company because they know the people and how to what motivates them, and you know, and so human resources in our business, if you have salespeople, sales managers, if you have these folks that are supposed to be responsible for running whole groups or teams, this is where basically there's corporate versus field salespeople versus accounting. There's all kinds of these different places that I know your company must struggle with some of that too.
Oh, every time you level up, like you say, you find new problems. I'll be honest with you. I basically got rid of almost my entire sales team and started completely over about 3 months ago. We just had a bunch of dead weight that wasn't getting the job done. I felt like our standards were lower than they needed to be because of it. And, when you get rid of those, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I wasn't that bad, but these guys suck because they wouldn't let me just hang out anymore. And, it is what it is.
I mean, that's the part no one talks about on these shows, to be honest with you. My uncle told me there's three things you got to do to do this business. Okay. You got to train roofing sales pros. I mean, the guys that knock their own doors, sell their own jobs. And on average, they probably with inflation sell about 500K a year. You got to train the fuck out of those guys. Okay.
Yep.
Probably out of, 100 of them, maybe 20% of them are going to stick. That's typical industry stats. Second of all, what you want to do is you want to turn the good ones into leaders. You're not really training salespeople out of that 20%. You're training leaders. And your ability to do that is going to be really the ability to go from good to great. And then in this last part is where even great people that are in sales and management still fuck up. They still screw up because and this is one thing martial arts has taught me a little bit more. Sometimes it's just better to go ahead and submit that person. And what I mean by that is basically that person had a hard conversation of it's time to go now. Basically, people won't respect you as a leader if they know someone's underperforming and you're not holding them accountable. That is a reflection on your leadership. It makes them less motivated to be the leader and questions your ability to lead. Every single time they see an example of that, then there's more weakness and dissolve in the discipline of your whole organization. The harder you can be on yourself, the harder you can be on your team. But essentially, once your team's out of line, they're complacent, they're lazy. I'm talking to almost all roofing sales business owners. You think you have a complacent, lazy door-to-door sales team. You think you got lead babies. Guess what? Somebody's got to be hung up to dry. Somebody's got to be fired, and they had to be made an example of. You need to have replacements behind those people already in place. And it's not always sales. It could be sales manager. It could be the guy that's pretending to be the best guy, who's really just a what do they call those fuckers? They call them They're just trying to like always get on someone else's deal, always jock some. They're jock.
Oh,
They're jock shockers. They're just always on someone else's jock strap. They're just hanging on to them jock strappers. Like, dude, here's the thing. As the sales leader, you should be able to show everybody that you can sell the most. That doesn't mean you're out there in the field all the time selling the most, but they should understand and respect that you are the baddest motherfucker in the room. And if you're not the baddest motherfucker in the room, you better be that. And I think so many sales managers, they're so soft as fucking baby shit. And so many owners, they want to sell themselves a lie. And they don't want to have the hard conversation. They don't want to have, and they look at me and they say, this guy's kind of ruthless. Well, how the fuck do you think it takes to get to 100 million?
yep. And I mean, dude, I'm working on it daily. That's for sure. I transitioned from, I was in distribution for 12 plus years, whatever, and order taker. I didn't have any real, anything ambitious going on. Go over into sales. I had to learn everything basically completely over because it was a different deal. Nobody cares that you know about shingles when you're sitting at their kitchen table. They're just trying to buy a cool personality. And, now I've evolved into that. But I'll be the first one to admit 3.5 years ago, Rio Blanco came into my life. This was an out of business roofing company in San Antonio. I had never even been to San Antonio before in my life, right? So you have to believe you're the baddest motherfucker in the room to take that. And I took it without any hesitation. I tell people the story. I lived in the office for like 6 weeks because I didn't even know if my office was in a good area or, if I was ever going to get a customer for one. So you got to start and you find out what you're all about. And I think once you put in all that work and you realize, okay, I literally just rebranded a dead company from scratch and built it into something that's substantial to me, at least. Now I don't want to have people around that are not willing to do that same level. And maybe that makes your standards ridiculously high, but shit, ridiculously high standards are where all the winners are at, right?
That's it, man. And I mean, some of the things that I can help you with is basically just we have some cheat codes to get like hundreds of people interested in Zoom calls. We have a special method to take those guys from the Zoom calls to excited to come work, special 10-day boot camp to get them successful with roofing and solar as retail as their pitch. And I mean, I know that in your market, there's plenty of both insurance and retail. And if I could get the next level of buy-in from the group, I think that even though y'all are such ballers that we could add things to the game, and I think that if you were interested in having my mom work with y'all, we might have to talk more in detail and see if we can't try and make that happen, because I'd love to help. And I mean, and when I say help, everybody in Texas really right now struggles with something, Chuck, and I hate to say it, but we always talk about door to door, and it's such a competitive market on Google, and there is plenty of guys that understand the internet. But one of the things I really see as a weakness in the Texas market is no one's got game on the video ads. Nobody can really, like, there's a format that we use and there's a framework, and when we teach people, they're unstoppable. And I haven't even applied myself in the Texas market. And so I know that there's a lot of opportunity on Facebook because the leads close at a higher rate. If you get a set appointment off of Facebook and it costs $300, so what? I mean, a good salesman closes about 50% of Facebook leads. So, I mean, the idea is that you really figure out how to make every build a build video, testimonial video, and you have small radiuses around all your jobs, and you have a very high quality and volume amount of Facebook ads running at all times. And then you teach your team the framework. And I know the depths of which y'all understand how important it is will make it easier for you to be successful. But me drilling the frameworks, teaching your guys the frameworks, and coaching you every time you send a video, I'm like, not fix this, not fix that, not fix this. There's just another level and that's why in Texas, since you can sell solar and roofing through Facebook while you knock doors, that's why I'm really coming back to Texas. Like, there's an incredible opportunity because most people in Texas are door to door. I mean, I don't see anyone dominating the Facebook game in Texas.
Not yet.
I don't see that, you know.
Yeah, you're right. There's a wide open opportunity for that. And I think there's huge value to it. I follow that and I see the value to it. And now it's like you
How do
said, just
y'all
sitting and
usually do
doing.
the Facebook ads? Lead forms? Do you do the videos? How does it work? How do you do it? You
You
do
know,
video?
I don't even I have K Socialized Media that does all that stuff for
I
me.
know,
So
but
I don't know.
you got to do the video. You got to hold the phone. You got to follow my scripts. You got to be the example. Then you teach the army. Then I make you unstoppable. But it's the next level of buy-in, and it's the challenge I have with all the roofers. It's like, you know, everyone wants. It's not one way. It's not one solution.
Definitely not.
And that's why basically though the one thing I have is I've spent about $4 or $5 million testing these video ads, and I've done more than anybody, and y'all see me in your news feed more than anybody. You know, I spend more than anybody, so you'd think that I'd have a little bit of expertise.
I believe you got a ton. I've seen your results, and that's another thing I want to talk about is at your conference. It's not just rah rah buy my stuff. Obviously, you're there because you've got a business that you're trying to build and do, and you've spent $1 million to put this conference together. Shit, dude, that thing should be saying sky diamonds every couple minutes. But you brought up people that have been success stories with your programs who literally went from nothing or extremely small and have scaled to levels that they probably never even thought possible. And a couple guys I think for specific examples, which I know you spoke on a couple times, number one is Ricky Southers, who I've actually started following because of you. And I mean, going from this to this because of your program is undeniable. But the other guy, I don't remember his last name, but his name was Trey, and he was the dude that was a Mennonite, right? Or
He's a Mennonite farmer. He did 3 residential roofs. He knew how to do commercial. Now he's a smart businessman, and he was really a sharp young man that really, honestly, before he would have met me, he would have been successful. Okay. Here's the thing. He just had only done 3 residential roofs. He thought he could make more money off of like Conklin coatings, doing the actual coatings and stuff. So I told him, hey, you can do those, but do residential too. And I gave him one framework, one video ad. He built a book of business off of these leads, and then did more video ads, hired his friends and family. Now they got a sales team. They do a bunch of leads. Now he needs to learn the door to door. He's on that sophomore. He's hit, you know, everybody goes through ups and downs. His first year, I think he did 1.8 million. This year he's probably at 3.5 million, but he's like, now how do you keep up with this insurance and the cash flow and then the process? And I'm like, hey, you got to follow these rules, and you know, you got to get money up front, collect the deductible, send the invoice and supplement in before you ever start to build it, you know, and blah 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 blah. And more importantly, here's the thing: Trey this year is probably going to do 5 million in sales in his second year. He did 1.8 in his first year, and you know, he'd already been in the business, so he was a roofer who had done 3 roofs. But to me, that's a story that shows. Like, another story is Greg, the guy who passed away. His mom got in the business, and they're going to be at the event you're going to be at. And so they're brand new, but I've got them up to doing about 16 roofs a month right now. And they're 90 days in the program, and they were doing wholesale real estate before, and they're not out there knocking doors. They have a team, a couple of guys in digital marketing. And, you know, I mean, that's why when people question what we do, you know, it's like, hey, show me what you do better. Let me learn from what you do, because I'd challenge any industry consultant. And you know, and I like all the times that I see the roofers that have better processes, that have better sales systems, that have better ideas, like Smart Roof, who introduced me to Roof in the Bag, or you know, they also introduced me to a policy where basically all my new sales reps, it took me years to commit to this. It's a very hard policy. Can you imagine cutting your sales reps commissions in half if they didn't hit their goals?
be tough to keep them. I mean, obviously you want your guys hitting goals, but I'd be pissed if I had a rough month and something like that happened.
All right, so here's the plan at my company. And so we have a high standard, and when you get onboarded, it's pretty simple. We give them an offer they can't refuse. It's called a 10% plan. All they do is sell, and they get 10%. Their job is to sign the contract, turn it in, and basically have everything required of a good signed contract. That means they'll meet an adjuster, they'll do all the other stuff to get it to that point. But once they turn it in, it's over with. They get paid. All right. Now, what they have to do to earn that 10% is contingencies count as one contract, turned in jobs count as one contract, approved solar jobs count as one contract. Doesn't have to be built, just have to be approved. You get 15 deals in a month. Look, that's 2 contingencies a week times 4 weeks is 8. 2 jobs turned in a week is 8. Mix in one solar job every other week. That now you've sold 20 in a week. Even though
Yeah.
it's in your pipeline, you're not turning them all in. You're not collecting all the money on those deals. You're hustling. And so what we're looking to do is we're only looking to require 15 in a month. 15 in a month.
You just
And
explained how to beat that, and that doesn't sound too hard.
doesn't sound too hard. So if they get 15 deals in a month, all they have to do is sell and they get 10%. If they don't, then all they have to do is sell and they get 5%, which is a pretty good deal because in the old days, this is how sell, build, collect is broke down. I don't know about you, but this is how we've done it. You sell the job, you get a third. You build the job, you get a third. And you collect the job, you get a third. And so if you sold the job and the total commission is 10%, how much should you make?
I guess it depends on your perspective as a sales rep, but to me, you should probably for selling the job before anything's gone in, you should just be you're good for the front end, right?
You're good for 5%. Here's the reason why. You get paid faster. Instead of waiting for the end of the damn job to get built, the supplement, the insurance claim, all the other bullshit, you get paid when the job's turned in. And in addition to the supplement, you get paid on that too, just when it comes in. When the supplement comes in, you get 10% of it. All right, just hit your goals. If you're not hitting your goals, you get 5. So all my new guys, they don't have to worry about anything. Now, for the first year, we teach them that. Now, what we want to teach them is we want to teach them how to be the real deal, to learn how to pull their own work orders together. And then after they do $1 million in business the first year under that one pay plan and they show they can manage projects and want to move to the next level, then we'll give them a chance to be a 40% salesman. You see, because it's like there's too many salesmen that just want to sell that are pretending like they're project managers and closers. And that's the roofing business problem, is because those guys can't collect money and build profitable work and the companies eat it. But the salesman acts like it's their fault.
Yeah, trust me. You just told the story of the last year of my life right there, but I get that. Dude, this is awesome. I know we're 52 minutes in. I know you're busy as hell today, Lee. So I got 2 last things I want to talk to you about, and I want to get you out of here so you can make your drive to Orlando in time. Um, the one thing, okay, and this is going to be just kind of fun. You're known for your content. I think one of the best videos I've ever seen was when the old guy like started swinging at you and you got punched by a dude that you were door knocking on. I told my guys about this the other day, and we go out door knocking here in San Antonio, and we have the contest who can get the most fucked up no, or who can get the quickest, whatever. And I seem to be pretty good. I win pretty much every time right now. Um, as a dude who's been out hitting the doors, who's been doing this as a large part of your life, everybody's got that one. What's the most screwed up or memorable or unique individual that you met randomly knocking on a door? You
That
know,
guy.
the dude
I'll
that
tell you
walks
this.
out with his
I'll,
his robe open, or
I'll tell you that story. Here's the deal. It was that guy, and my digital marketer was in my uh, passenger seat, and I was like, "I'm going to teach you door to door is not that bad here." And we pull up into this driveway, and it's a gated. And I was like, going to walk through the gate and show somebody, "Hey, if you have door to door skills, even a gate can't stop you." So I knocked on his front door, no answer. Knocked on his side door, no answer. Went back up to the front door. Went no answer. The guy must have been drunk, asleep, shitting in the shower. Who knows? He was pissed. He got 3 knocks. Someone went past the gate. I come out to the gate. I come back. This little Italian dude's yelling to high heavens, screaming, screaming, screaming. Keep trying to sell him a roof. Maybe you've seen the video. Here's the deal. Had no boxing training then. Got a little bit too close. No hands up. He got a good one on me. He gave me a little hard tiger palm to the shoulder, to the chin. And I'm not going to lie, for a minute, I thought about pounding the old man in his own front yard, just beating the living shit out of him. And if I had no self control, like some of the people that run around acting like dude, I don't get into bar fights. I don't have a history of assault, not one single arrest. I'm a very self composed individual. Do I like to fight in a cage for fun and for sport? Absolutely. But the point I'm making is I didn't beat this guy up. I kept trying to sell a roof, and it was he escorted me once he started to go get the gun. But it's funny, we caught it all on content, and it reminded me to go make an ad video. We made an ad video. We got a bunch of jobs. That was in the beginning of me going all in on digital marketing, and it was a cool piece of content and story to let people know that maybe if that person would have seen me on a video ad, that he would have invited me in his house versus punching me in the face. Even though I enjoyed being punched in the face, and I realize it's viral content, and I need to go get more content just like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and get my ass whooped on camera today.
Well, don't get your ass whooped. Just
I mean, hey, if
feel
that's
bad
what it
because I didn't
takes.
put my hand. I'm like, damn, bro, you didn't have no fucking moves. You couldn't put your hand up, bro.
Right now,
Like,
you look back and it's like, man, if I would have just, a little bit, I could have caught him and game over. But like you say, composure's good. That's what martial arts are about, and I appreciate that. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the main reason why I had you on Keeping It Rio today, other than the fact that you're Lee Haight, and I wanted to have Lee Haight on Keeping It Rio since day one. You've got the solar events coming up here in Texas, starting next week. Why don't you
yeah,
tell our
man.
fans a little bit about what you got, where you're going with it, and what we can expect to see?
Well, for one, this is completely out of the bottom of my heart because I love people from Texas. I'm from Texas. Right now, it's just not right how much people's power bills are going up, doubling overnight for a lot of the people in Texas. And I hear it from all my family, friends, and people from all the great state of Texas, for all the roofers that aren't just capitalizing on this gold rush, this $362 billion in free money, this Inflation Reduction Act. It's not going to work to reduce inflation, but it is going to get you a shitload of solar jobs in your pocket. And what I can tell you is you can't miss out on the opportunity, because a lot of times I charge, how much was the tickets to the blue collar conference? Were they, Chuck? $1,000,
1,500.
1,500,
We had the VIPs.
Okay, so there were $1,500 tickets. Here's how much these tickets are. They're free. They're first come, first serve. We have a limited about 100 seats at each venue. We're going to Houston August 15th. That's Monday. Austin August 16th. That's Tuesday. We're going to Dallas Fort Worth Wednesday, August 17th. And somebody that attends these events is going to get a jet trip with me, a Jet UFC mastermind, where we talk fighting, where we talk business, where we have fun, and then we're going to sit on the floor. I just purchased tickets. They're right there by all the UFC fighters. I spent $12,000 on tickets to the event. So you will be with the crew, the Nelk Boys crew of the roofing industry. That's right, Sky Diamonds, the Blood Diamonds. It's going to be great. All right. So here's what you got to do. You got to show up. You got to show up to learn how we combine solar to sell roofing, because it's real simple. You get 30% off of all roofing projects when you go solar with them. And, there's a lot of different ways you can lead with solar and get going through the insurance claim process and sell solar later. There's also, if you're currently selling solar, a program we have called the Roofing Redline program, where, look, guys, there's a ton of money in getting solar companies to sell roofs under your company just by teaching them how to sell. And I'll teach you how to do that. Now, it's not just about residential. You don't really get it. Just through one connection, I was able to land a project on one of the biggest premier sports stadiums. We're building a power bank, an actual a power plant. And I'm doing it through a company, SIRC. Actually, they are basically me in partnership. I can't even tell you what sports team we're doing this for, but it's a freaking $15 to $20 million commercial solar deal. But we also have another one that's a movie theater that was basically a $20,000 a month payment. It was, the first movie theater was $1 million, but then they wanted 15 movie theaters turned into a $15 million commercial solar deal. I don't know if you saw my latest YouTube. We're re-roofing Cashada Casino. It's a 1,700 square, $5 million wind-fitted commercial roof, level 5. You should check it out. But landing commercial roofs And having a commercial department has been key to me not being so dependent on just doing door-to-door residential insurance. So you really want to know about how to fight. How do I be dependent on supplements and insurance and no storms? Well, yes, you got to learn how to advertise on the internet. Yes, you have to learn how to sell retail, but retail in Texas, Chuck, retail in Texas, when they get multiple bids, it's pretty tough to come in there and smack them over the head at 50% margins, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it can be done if you're really good and if,
But really, you got
the
to win it.
training around you is not so stellar, but yeah, I mean, it's competitive. San Antonio especially is one of the most competitive markets in the country.
So chances are in a retail deal, you're competing for bids. You're willing to go as low as 35% to get that job, right?
Yep.
And maybe even as low as 33, but you got to know your numbers. You got to know how to win. You know how to build value on top of that. And the reality is, guys, there's $362 billion for roofers, for homeowners. And if you're not educated in how to apply that to sell more roofs, you're fucking crazy. And that's why you need to be at the events. They're at David and Buster's. And you can, of course, drop some links in the right here for each one. If you're in Dallas, join us. Look, we have a limited number of spots. Guys that are already in the program are bringing their sales teams. And it's more going to be me training people how to sell solar because, guys, that's all you have to learn. You just have to learn. And I'm bringing my director of solar, Daniel Diab. I'm bringing Chuck's going to be speaking. He's got a lot of experience about some of the biggest challenges roofers have when first learning how to sell solar. He's also we've also got a lot of Scott Edwards from the San Antonio market with Mammoth. He's going to be talking about recruiting because one thing about solar is there's a whole bunch more people in the world interested to sell solar than sell roofing. Let me give you everybody this, I want to give you this golden nugget. All right. Are you ready for this? It's going to really fuck you up. In the eyes of everyone in America, solar sales is a better roofing job than roofing sales.
It absolutely is. And I don't dispute that for a second.
You are on a different totem pole in the world if you are in a networking party and, oh, I'm a solar. If you give a fuck about that, well, guess what? Call yourself a solar salesman. I don't give a fuck about shit like that. That's why I run the Blue Collar American Dream Conference. But I'm the son of a roofer who's proud of the shit and will be the best in the world at getting people in the roofing business. And if that's by tricking people, calling them solar salesmen, fuck it. That's exactly what we're going to do. And what I'm trying to tell you is you're not recruiting solar sales reps. How many ads do you have, Chuck, specific for solar salespeople out there looking for just solar folks?
It's funny you say that. I just put one out the other day. It was the first one we've done since we
You
started the
need
solar
50.
division.
You need
Yeah.
50. You need a whole volume of it. You need a funnel specific to it. You need content related around it. You need a plan for them, a program for them. And we've created this whole separate group, and it's a whole separate recruiting pool, and it doubled my ability to recruit. And people always think I'm full of shit. But the truth is, guys, solar right now is better than roofing because it sells roofing. And it doesn't have your salespeople going that cherry picking bullshit. Cherry picking's killing your fucking company. Bad territory management and shitty door to door is killing your fucking company because you don't have good sales management, because you don't have the balls to carry the torch when the door to door heartbeat dies, because you're living from a ivory tower. That's why your fucking business sucks. Oh, wait, you also don't know how to digital market. You don't spend the time recruiting, and you want to blame all the gurus who you hired that they're the reason why you weren't successful. Let me tell you, roofers, I'm done being Captain Saber Roofer. This is the David Goggins of fucking roofing personal development. So don't come to me with no pussy shit.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is Lee Haight. We love it. Thank you, Lee. I'm going to put this out into the world right now because I've been very fortunate. I did win a event ticket to your blue collar event this year. I was the chosen winner of the drawing, but I'm going to put this out there for the world right now for karma's sake. I'm hoping that I win the UFC prize because I'm not going to lie, that's pretty badass. So I'm putting out Keepin It Rio today. If I do win, it's not cheating, it's legit, but I'm saying it.
Oh, then let me help you. Let me help you make that a reality.
All right.
All right. Let me help you make that a reality. It's not gonna be easy. First of all, nothing is. All right.
Nothing is.
And this part can stay on the record or it can go off the record on the show. I don't care. All you have to do, all right, to have an exponentially higher chance to win is I really would be honored to have y'all in my mastermind. And not only that, it would come with benefits from the platform as far as speaking opportunities for everybody. And it would also include my mother doing team building stuff as well as a bonus. And so I believe there's so many levels in digital marketing that I have to teach you specifically on how to use videos to sell. And also our recruiting system, bro. And also, like, the thing is it's we can all collaborate to dominate. And I know you go in a lot of different directions. You have your own thing, but there's no reason why I can't promote your thing or their thing. And the idea is, I spent about 40,000 on the jet, 12,000 on the seats. There's only about 2 available seats. So the people that are going to win those seats are likely going to be the people that,
Absolutely.
do you understand what I'm saying?
Commit the most for sure. That's the way that
Okay.
it should be. That is the way
Okay.
it should be,
Okay. So, but I want to tell you who else is going to be on that plane.
Yeah.
I couldn't, in good heart, I felt like an empty suit piece of shit if I didn't let one of my RRCA salespeople go. You know who else I felt like I would be a piece of shit if I didn't let one of my existing members who'd already paid me go. And so guess what? My wife's not flying on the jet. She's flying on a regular flight so that there is enough seats on the jet for one of my roofing sales reps, for whoever sells the most solar deals this week is going on the trip. And then in the elite program, whoever sells the most solar deals this week is going in the trip. And then on the tour, whoever joins elite and wins the drawing wins the trip. That's how you win the trip. You show up to the event, you get the chance, you hear about the elite program. Those are the details on how you win a trip to UFC 278 with floor seats with me. And so make it happen, Chuck. Let's go.
Working on it, my friend. Believe me on that. Lee, thank you for your time today. You are the man. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday in Austin. Everything you do for the industry, like I say, you've been cool as hell to me since day one, and I appreciate you taking time. I know you got to drive today, and you got a lot of stuff going on. So thank you, my friend. I'm going to get some
Appreciate you, bro.
extra eyes on my show
Hey, and I
because of
love
it.
all
So
roofers. I don't care where you're at in the journey. I love you. I don't care if you have what kind of issues you have. I'm here for you. I have a passion. I believe that I'm not here to do this for the money. When my friend passed away, the one I told you about, Greg, I help his mother now, but I feel connected to his spirit for the rest of my life. And I feel like my duty is to lift all blue collars up, freely give to others what was given to me. I was great. My dad gave me coaching at a young age. When I got in trouble, I was 12 years old. I had to read the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, Into the Mirror. I would not be where I am if I wouldn't have had good coaching. Whenever it came time to invest in the coaching, I did it without asking my dad. I used company credit card. He said, "What the fuck is this money you're spending with Grant Cardone?" I turned it into a motherfucking $1.8 million job, a university, a movement, $100 million company. Everybody else calls me a piece of shit, and all I'm trying to do is lift everybody up. So you can either love me or hate me. I'm getting paid either way, baby.
that's right. And we appreciate you very much, Lee. You're always going to be on the good side with me. You're a legit dude, and what you're doing for the industry is far in excess of what most people that talk crap about you will ever do. So thank you, my friend. We'll do
You got
this
it,
again
buddy.
sometime, and I will see you on Tuesday, buddy. Have a great day.
All right, bud. See you.